Welcome back to the deep dive. Diving into Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar is always a unique experience, and today we're focusing on Chapter 16. You've shared this chapter with us specifically, so let's get right into the heart of Esther Greenwood's journey through the asylum.
This chapter immediately throws us into the deep end, both literally and figuratively. We see Esther grappling with her own internal turmoil, and her encounters with another patient, Joan, add a fascinating layer to the narrative.
Yeah, I was particularly intrigued by Joan's entrance. She reads about Esther in the newspaper and then decides to essentially run away to be in the same asylum. It's a decision that seems impulsive, maybe even a little strange.
But it speaks volumes about Joan's state of mind. She's clearly drawn to Esther's story, seeing a reflection of her own struggles. Remember, she mentions feeling terrible, even having suicidal thoughts. It's as if she believes finding Esther will offer some sort of understanding or solace.
Right. And then she launches into this story about her bunions wearing rubber boots to work and her experience with a psychiatrist who recommended group therapy when she was feeling suicidal. On the surface, it sounds almost comical, but you quickly realize it masks a deeper pain.
Plath masterfully blends humor and despair in a way that feels authentic to the human experience. Joan's anecdote about the psychiatrist and the 9 pairs of eyes staring at her is a prime example. It's absurd, but it also underscores the impersonal and potentially damaging nature of some mental health treatments, particularly during that era.
This detail about the psychiatrist really stuck with me. It suggests a system more focused on managing symptoms than addressing the underlying causes of suffering. It's as if individual needs were being ignored in favor of a standardized approach.
Precisely. The prevailing attitude seemed to be one of fix the problem without truly understanding the individual's unique circumstances. This approach likely amplified the sense of isolation and alienation that individuals like Joan and Esther were already experiencing.
And you can see that sense of alienation in Esther's initial reaction to Joan. There's a sense of skepticism, almost like she's questioning Joan's authenticity, but then there's a shift, a growing fascination with Joan's experiences. I wonder, does this signal a change in Esther's perspective?
I think it does. It suggests a developing empathy in Esther, a recognition that their struggles, though different in their specifics, share a common thread of pain and disconnect. The parallel between Joan putting her fist through a window and Esther's own suicide attempt reinforces this shared sense of desperation.
It's almost as if they're both trapped in these metaphorical bell jars, struggling to breathe under the weight of societal expectations and their own internal turmoil. I'm curious, how does this theme of societal expectations play out in the chapter, particularly in relation to Esther's interactions with her mother?
That's a great question, and it's something we see unfolding throughout the chapter. But before we dive into that, I think it's worth exploring another pivotal moment, Esther's reaction after falling asleep and Dr. Nola's response. What struck you about this scene?
Well, it's curious how Esther describes feeling light and airy after waking up. Dr. Nolan seems to interpret this as a positive sign, but Esther herself admits she feels the same again. It's like a disconnect between the doctor's perception and the patient's reality.
Exactly. It raises questions about how mental health was assessed and treated at the time. Was the focus truly on understanding the patient's internal experience, or was it more about observing outward signs of improvement?
And then there are the roses, such a stark contrast to the asylum setting. These vibrant, beautiful roses arrive from Esther's mother.
The symbolism of those roses is so crucial. Roses typically represent love, beauty, even celebration. But in Esther's eyes, they're almost a mockery of her internal state. She even says she wants to save them for her funeral.
It's heartbreaking, really. It's as if those roses symbolize everything Esther feels she's lost. Hope, joy, a sense of belonging in the world. She's rejecting not just the flowers, but what they represent to her.
And it speaks to a profound disconnect between Esther's internal world and the expectations of the outside world, particularly the expectations of her mother. Remember, Esther's mother arrives full of guilt and questions, desperately searching for some external cause for Esther's illness.
It's almost as if she's trying to find someone or something to blame rather than simply accepting and supporting her daughter's struggles, and it just adds to Esther's burden.
It's a reflection of a broader societal discomfort with mental illness. There's this pressure to find a simple explanation, a tangible reason, instead of confronting the complex reality of human suffering.
And this brings us back to your earlier point about societal expectations. It seems like those expectations, particularly around femininity and happiness, are weighing heavily on Esther.
Absolutely. She's trapped between the desire to conform to be the perfect daughter and woman and the suffocating reality of her own internal experience. The roses, in a way, embody that conflict.
It's as if she's saying, these roses don't belong in my world right now. They're a reminder of everything I can't be, everything I feel I'm failing at.
That's a powerful interpretation, and it leads to a pivotal moment in the chapter. Esther's confession of hatred towards her mother. "I hate her," she tells Dr. Nolan. What's remarkable is Dr. Nolan's response, or rather her lack of a shocked response.
It's almost as if she was expecting it. Instead of judgment or reprimand, Dr. Nolan simply acknowledges Esther's feelings with a calm, "I suppose you do." That must have been incredibly validating for Esther.
I think it was. It suggests a level of empathy and understanding that Esther has been craving. Dr. Nolan isn't trying to fix her or dismiss her feelings. She's simply recognizing their validity, their complexity.
It's a crucial turning point. By allowing Esther to express her anger and resentment openly, Dr. Nolan creates a space for genuine connection and healing. I wonder, listener, what did you make of Dr. Nolan's response? Did you find it comforting, unsettling, or something else entirely?
It highlights the importance of simply listening to those who are struggling. Sometimes the most powerful form of support is simply acknowledging someone's pain without judgment or the need to offer solutions.
Yet despite this moment of connection with Dr. Nolan, Esther still feels incredibly isolated. We see this in her interactions with the constant stream of visitors.
The Christian scientist, the English teacher, Philomena Guinea, even the minister, they all come with their own intentions, their own ways of trying to reach Esther. But their efforts, however well-meaning, ultimately contribute to her sense of alienation.
It's as if they're all speaking different languages, unable to truly comprehend her internal world. Their presence underscores the communication barrier that often exists between those struggling with mental illness and those trying to help.
And their visits highlight the limitations of societal responses to mental illness during that time. There's a focus on external solutions, on fixing the problem, rather than understanding the individual's experience.
It makes me think about how we approach mental health today. Have we truly moved beyond those limitations? Are we better equipped to listen, to empathize, to create space for genuine connection and healing? It's a question worth pondering, wouldn't you say? Yeah, it really is. It's a question that lingers long after finishing this chapter, and it makes me wonder about the lasting impact of stories like Esther's. Stories that delve into the complexities of mental illness without shying away from the raw, often uncomfortable truths.
Stories like The Bell Jar are so crucial because they offer a window into a lived experience that many people might not otherwise understand. They challenge our assumptions and force us to confront the limitations of our own empathy.
And in doing so, they create space for dialogue, for understanding, for a more nuanced and compassionate approach to mental health. This chapter, despite its darkness, does offer a glimmer of hope. That moment between Esther and Dr. Nolan is pivotal.
Absolutely. It demonstrates the transformative power of validation, of simply being seen and heard without judgment. It's a moment that resonates far beyond the confines of the asylum walls.
It makes me think about the importance of seeking out those moments of genuine connection in our own lives, both as givers and receivers of support. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most powerful act of caring is simply listening with an open heart.
And remembering that healing is rarely linear. It's messy, it's complex. There will be setbacks, there will be moments of despair. But as long as there's that thread of hope, that belief in the possibility of connection and recovery, the journey continues.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the symbolism of roses to the societal pressures that weigh on Esther to the power of validation in the therapeutic relationship. But ultimately, I think this chapter leaves us with a profound question.
How can we as individuals and as a society bridge the gap between the external world and the internal landscapes of those struggling with mental illness? How can we create a world where those struggles are met with understanding, compassion, and genuine support rather than judgment and fear?
It's a question worth pondering, a question that challenges us to look inward and outward, to examine our own biases, and to advocate for a more inclusive and empathetic approach to mental health. This deep dive into the bell jar has been a journey through darkness and light, through despair and glimmers of hope.
And as we emerge from this deep dive, I hope you, listener, carry with you the echoes of Esther's story, a reminder of the power of vulnerability, the importance of connection, and the enduring strength of the human spirit, even in the face of profound challenges.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another exploration of a topic that's close to your heart. Until then, keep diving deep, keep seeking understanding, and keep those conversations going.
And remember, even in the darkest of times, there is always hope.